Hello. Hello, lovely people. Courtney here with Stars of the Morning Light. Thank you for watching. If at any time something resonates with you here, please hit that like button and subscribe. This is a journey that we are on together, and I so appreciate you. This message today is our weekly vocabulary and goal. Normally this is done on Wednesday, but today is Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. Because I'm a week behind from being sick last week, I'm just kind of pumping out videos that are needed to be out there. Good to see you all. And what's interesting, I think this is the first time people get to see me in full effect tattoos. So yeah, I have many tattoos. So if this is your first time with Stars of the Morning Light, Stars of the Morning Light is a full spiritual, metaphysical resource platform. You can visit the link in the About section. That is Stars of the Morning Light, my .com page. Services as far as Akashic Records reading, tarot readings, spiritual coaching, all the above, blogs, free meditation podcast, all of it, okay? So today, though, I wanted to talk about the word apology or apologize. I know, so don't turn me off. There's reasons why I want to talk about this. I was actually supposed to talk about this again last week, and I'm just now getting to it. That word, apology, apologize, did not mean what we have it mean now until the late 16th century. So I think the changeover was, we never really know when change happens in words and terms a lot of times, because it takes 20, 30 years for something to fully change over. I always look at 30-year intervals. I'm always either 30 years ahead, looking at 30 years in the past, So apology. That originally, if you go back to ancient Greek, you can kind of think of apologetics comes from the same term, which we know apologetics is usually used in today's world as in the Christian faith of, you might have a apologetic pastor or preacher who refers to themselves as that, so they can, because they feel as if they have to defend the scriptures. It is to explain and defend. And that's what apology always meant up until the late 16th century. Meaning, apology did not always mean I need to say sorry. It originally, from the Greek, apo or apo means away from or off. And loga or logos, let's just say logos, means speech. So to apologize meant you're defending yourself. You're giving a speech in defense of your actions, your behavior, your beliefs, like apologetic preachers, right? We will end up reading Plato here. I don't know if we'll read this, but in Plato's The Apology of Socrates, that was at Socrates' trial. Plato was trying to defend and self-defend Socrates, during that trial. Meaning, so apology comes from having to feel that you have to defend. And oftentimes, isn't it funny that when somebody's like, you need to apologize, our first thoughts always are like, I need to say sorry? Let me tell you why I did what I did. Isn't that always the case? When we're taught now that to make a sincere apology, to truly say sorry, we leave all of that defending out. We leave all of that justifications out of it. We state what we did. We say we're sorry, and with it in mind, with the implications, with the sincere tone of, I don't ever plan to do this again. I've learned my ways. It's so interesting that it has morphed from originally it meant justifying what we do into now you need to leave that justification completely out of this. And the turnover, like I said, we don't really know when the turnover was. I mean, and as we talk about vocabulary here all the time, we are noticing that things change. I mean, just from vastly. This is another complete other side, complete other scope. Shakespeare, so the earliest thing that we can find that it's like written down, except Thomas More, but I don't really want to talk about Thomas More. I'm not a fan, just so we know. We might look at that, but I'm probably not. I'm not a fan. So, Shakespeare, in Richard III, there was like one line there that linguistic majors look at and go, okay, clearly the word apology must have changed somewhere in this mix. That's why Shakespeare does that all the time for us. Shakespeare, kind of just changed stuff up because he wanted to, and he went, this is me, I'm going to write what I want to write. But he also, because he was the premier playwright, the premier writer of that time for us, we get a lot of how the dialogue had changed. And so in Richard III, he wrote, "My lord, there needs no such apology," meaning you don't need to explain yourself. You need to not say sorry. You need not to. So it went from originally meaning in Greek and for always up until the late 16th century. So probably from like 1550 to 1600s, somewhere that change happened. So it went from originally justifying ourselves, explaining ourselves, arguing. It's giving an argument as to why, as far like apologetics, into our interpretation of today when we go to apologize. Our justifications are diddly squat and mean nothing, and we need to just recognize the fact that we were in the wrong. Wow, two vastly different sides of the meaning. I mean, it's just wild how this happens. Why I bring this up, okay, is I think in one of the last videos we talked about ascension anger or awakening anger. Awareness anger. And yes, I was supposed to do this video last week. I apologize. But yes, I was sick. See, isn't it weird how when we want to apologize, we also want to back it up with that justification, because that's what the word always meant. So for all of us who have lived many times over, that's how our dialogue wants to represent itself. I want to justify the fact that I did not get this video to you last week because I was sick. And so I'm sorry. It's here now. See? Isn't that fascinating? That is, it is programmed in us, probably in our DNA, because all of us who lived prior to the late, 1500s, that's how we use the word. We were justifying ourselves. Anyways, that's just an example. We were coming out of, and I mean, it's still there, it's still lingering, the ascension anger. But what the kind of current energies that we're in now, and it's still a little bit there and stuff's shifting. This week, definitely, a lot of people are feeling energized still. And, you know, first that ascension anger is like fight, 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 fight. And I get it. I get it. Trust me. I was a warrior for a long time. I get it. But now, instead of so much the fight, we are actually in this interesting energy of the momentum still there in our personal lives and globally. Higher conscious, you know, collective consciously, collective energies. But it's as if we are now within ourselves kind of living in both sides of that one word, apology. We're at that time that, okay, the anger is somewhat subsided. We're realizing that we need to move forward with logic and integrity and heart-centered, and let's move slow, but yet we still want to get things done. And in the midst of that, coming out of the denial, coming out of the anger, we feel the betrayal, we feel a lot of things, and we go, oh my goodness, so-and-so tried telling me all this 5 years ago and I completely shrugged him off. I need to apologize. I should have listened. I saw and I mean, this is like inner dialogue within ourselves. I should have, you know, the writing was on the wall for many years. Why were my eyes not open? And we start to kind of beat ourselves up a little bit. Why didn't I know? Everything is laid out in front of me. I should have known. I should have been more prepared. I should have seen all this. And at the same time, because that fight is still kind of in us, so we're feeling like we have to say sorry to ourselves, which is good, to others, to just feeling that. And at the same time, we want to now start having that argument with people and justifying our beliefs and our thoughts now. We want to explain and have that argument and justify why we're feeling and thinking the way that we do now, why we have flipped the script in just a moment's notice. So we have the word apologize, apology, ancient meaning of wanting to justify, give the argument, explain our thoughts, feelings, and actions. And at the same time, the new way we look at apology of, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to so-and-so a few years ago. I should have not have been maybe such an asshole, you know? We're having both aspects in our energy right now. At the same time, feeling like, okay, I have all this, I gotta keep moving, I gotta do something about this, I gotta, you know, what am I supposed to do with this, and, you know, all these energy shifts, and, okay, how do I operate now, and how do I keep my head sane, how do I stay cool, right? All of this is happening, so that's why I bring up that word. It's funny how vocabulary can change over time, and we stopped using it in the original sense of justifying and having arguments into needing to apologize as far as saying sorry for the past few hundred years, right? But yet both definitions are living within us right now. So, our weekly goal is to really identify within ourselves and our community and conscious connections what we do have to own and what we have to have compassion for ourselves with. Because we only know what we know until we know something different. We only do what we do until we do something different. We react in the manner of how we react until we know different, until we react differently. So we do need to look at where we have been possibly wrong, very offensive, or bringing the hurt to a place within us that definitely needs to be released. And why I say that is when we go to start identifying these things, why don't we, if we need to apologize, if we need to step back for a minute to really collect ourselves, we need to always put ourselves at the top of the list of everything we do. Top of the list for taking care of things, your to-do list. You're at the top of the list, your self-care. You are at the top of the list of understanding how you got here. Of understanding, okay, I only know what I know until I know different. You are at the top of the list of saying sorry to yourself. You are at the top of your list. So this week, if there's anything that you need to kind of examine some more, kind of work through feelings of betrayal, because that tends to really come with great awareness, and you start working through it, remember to always put yourself at the top of the list. If you need to apologize to people, or if you feel like you need to explain, justify, and defend yourself to people, always put yourself at the top of the list to check in with yourself, to know what is needed and what you can let go of. Maybe you don't have to defend and justify. Maybe you just need to say sorry. In other cases, maybe you do need to explain and justify. Either way, we are still in the energy of apology, right? In the next episode, my lovely people, I will be talking about, I apologize, I'm still kind of recovering. I will be talking about holding the flame, being an initiate of the flame. This is where we are going to examine that and hopefully get the ball rolling as to how to get things changing in your life and the world. So, I love you guys. Have a lovely week. If you are just now seeing this at any point, that means it was for you to hear and see. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and I enjoy you, so I hope you enjoy me. I love you. Namaste, everyone. Bye.